3. So my best friend and my fiance go on a trip by themselves behind my back. The whole time they were on their trips, I thought he was on a work trip and I thought she was with some dude. Because of the time difference, my fiance kept saying that he couldn't FaceTime, so we would just talk on the phone. The conversations were really short and he was acting really strange. He told me he was on a work trip to London, and because the whole thing felt so strange, I decided to call his mom. So I call her and I'm like, hey, where did he travel to again? And she replied, Aruba. I didn't say anything to her and I just got off the phone. I knew he was lying. And I knew my best friend was in Aruba. I connected the dots and realized they were both on a vacation together. The day that he was supposed to fly in, I showed up to the airport knowing that he was coming from Aruba. And I see them walking out to arrivals hand in hand. They saw me right away, and my best friend literally ran away. That's when he told me that he no longer wanted to be with me and that he wanted to be with my best friend. I had already paid for the wedding. He was such a coward. 2 months later, I found out she cheated on him, and he came back to me. I said no.
Kidnapping rate in Detroit is so high, a woman can't even go to the store alone anymore. I went to Myers and I bumped into a guy in an aisle. He was really, really tall with long hair. And I was like, oh, my bad, excuse me. He looked down at me. He was like, oh, no, you good, you good. Next thing I know, every aisle that I went to after that, he somehow ended up in the same aisle. So I tested the dude out to see if he was really following me or if maybe I was going crazy, you know. So I went to the tampon aisle over by the makeup and all the women's products. Why he end up in that aisle too? So then I started taking my sweet ass time trying to see if this man would leave, which he never did. So I went to self-checkout and deliberately checked the product wrong. When assistants came, I told them, hey, look, it seems like this dude's been following me all this time. Can somebody walk me out to my car? They sent one of the guys that wrangle up the cars to walk with me. So I finished my checkout and me and the Myers employee walked out together. And he and I both noticed this man following me to the car. And then the man walked 4 lanes over to his car, got in there and waited for me to finish packing up my car. Mind you, I had 2 children with me, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. At that point, the Myers employee told me he was about to go get security. I hopped in my car because I didn't feel safe anymore. I was by myself and I started to drive off. The man followed me out onto 12 Mile, and at that point I called the police. The police told me to drive straight to the police station, which I did. 2 miles down the road, this guy was still behind me, and I kind of think he figured out what was going on, so he turned off on the side street. I have not seen him since that day.
Welcome back to another Toxic Best Friend story time. A little background information. I was friends with this girl since elementary school, and we had a really good friendship until we got into high school. Like, we always got along, never fought over boys. Well, during our freshman year, this new boy started at our school. Well, I started talking to him. And after a month of still talking to him, my best friend goes, I don't think you should talk to him. He talks to a lot of girls. And because she was my best friend, I didn't think she would lie about that. I believed her and I stopped talking to him. Well, that weekend, I went over her house. And when I walked in her room, she goes, oh, say hi. And who else is on the phone but the boy she told me not to talk to? So after they got off the phone, I was like, let me guess, you told me to stop talking to him because you liked him. And she goes, yeah, I just knew that if I told you I liked him, you wouldn't stop talking to him. So that night, we went to a party and he was there. And things started to go south, like for part 2.
Storytime of how I found out that I was pregnant with my stepbrother's baby. So basically I was 16 at the time and my mom didn't let me date. So I had to keep dating this guy a secret from my mom. And every weekend this guy would come over and she was dating him, but she didn't think that we were ready to meet his kids yet. Okay, so to be able to hang out with my boyfriend, me and him both told our parents that we were going to a friend's house. And my best friend's mom does not care what she does, so me and him would both always go there. So about a year into dating this kid, me and him were both tired of keeping it a secret from our parents. And legit, coincidentally, the same exact night that I was going to tell my mom about my boyfriend is the same exact night her boyfriend was going to bring his kids over so we could meet them. So I was going to wait till after we met them so she was in a better mood. And when my mom's boyfriend got there, so did my boyfriend. Me and him literally don't know how we didn't catch on. So we both decided not to tell our parents yet. And then me and my boyfriend decided that we were just going to take advantage of it. Because my mom's boyfriend was going to be moving in, so that means I can live with my boyfriend. I'm running out of time, like for part 2.
It's going to be a story time while I take my makeup off about how I was the crazy ex.